Hi friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, namaskar. I hope you all doing well. First of all, I really thankful to all of you for appreciate my initiatives and like my all the videos. I got your mails and I'm very glad to interact with you. My name is Hema Sharma. I have 15 years experience in pharmaceutical industry and the topic for the today is data integrity. So guys, come to know the topic of data integrity. Let's go with this topic. Data integrity is well known. अच्छे से हम सबको पता है कि डाटा इंटीग्रिटी फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्रीज में कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस रखती है. ये फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री ही नहीं बल्कि बाकी हमारी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में भी हम डाटा इंटीग्रिटीज के बारे में देखते हैं. जैसे आप कभी सरेंडर बुक करवाते हो, कभी रिचार्ज कराते हो, बिल पे करते हो फोन का, बस की ट्रैवलिंग करते हो, ट्रेन की या प्लेन की ट्रैवलिंग करते हो, टिकट्स बुक कराते हो, आपको पता चलता है कि ये मेरी सीट है, ये मेरा नंबर है, यहाँ मुझे बैठना है. तो दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ द इंटीग्रिटी. मीन्स वो डाटा जिसकी कुछ इंटीग्रिटी थी और उसने आपको गाइड किया, आपको सजेस्ट किया और आपने उस पर ट्रस्ट करना शुरू कर दिया और ट्रस्ट करके आपने अपना काम किया. सेम हेयर फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री में भी डाटा इंटीग्रिटी जितनी सॉलिड होगी ना, उतना अच्छा बिजनेस होगा, उतना अच्छा ट्रस्ट डेवलप्ड होगा. तो आज हम इस वीडियो में यही सब डिस्कस करेंगे कि कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है डाटा इंटीग्रिटी और इंटीग्रिटी को स्ट्रेंथ कैसे दी जा सकती है और कैसे एज ए इंडिविजुअल, एज ए टीम मेंबर, एज ए लीडर और एज ए मैनेजमेंट किसी भी स्टेज पर हम लोगों कैसे अपने काम को और अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को और अपनी इंडस्ट्री को एक स्ट्रेंथ दे सकते हैं. तो लेट्स गो. डाटा इंटीग्रिटी. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल we see what is data. Data is a collection of the facts such as the numbers, words, measurement, observation or just description of the things. Guys, data क्या है? वो पहली इंफॉर्मेशन, वो पहला तथ्य, वो पहला इंडिकेशन जिससे आपको पता चलता है कि इस चीज की वैल्यू क्या है. चाहे वो क्वांटिटीज हो, इंफॉर्मेशन हो, ग्राफ्स हो, मेजरमेंट्स हो, ऑब्जर्वेशन हो, फैक्ट्स हो, नंबर्स हो. आप बाजार से सामान लाते हो, बिल आता है, दैट इज द डाटा. आप गैस बुक कराते हो, एसएमएस आता है या मेल पे करवाते हो, कुछ रिप्लाई आता है, दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ डाटा. सो डाटा इज अ कलेक्शन ऑफ द फैक्ट्स, नंबर्स in the form of words, measurements, observation or the description. That is the data. Simple. What is the integrity? The quality of being honest and having the strong moral principle. Means the quality of being whole and complete. Means do the right things even when no one is looking. It's called integrity. So this is the integrity. मेरा पूरा होना, मेरा समर्पित होना, मेरे काम के प्रति पूरा ईमानदारी से करना ही मेरी इंटीग्रिटी है. ठीक वैसा ही इंटीग्रिटी सब लोगों में है. नेक्स्ट, डाटा इंटीग्रिटी. So data integrity क्या है दोस्तों? Refer to the accuracy and the consistency of the data stored in a database or a data warehouse. Data with the integrity is said to have a complete structure, that is all characteristics define the data must be correct. Therefore many are working how to achieve data integrity. So हमारे डाटा में जो ऑनेस्टी, जो कंप्लीटनेस, जो एक्यूरेसी है, वही हमारी डाटा इंटीग्रिटी है. तो गाइज अब देखते हैं कि फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्रीज में क्या क्या रेगुलेटरीज रिक्वायरमेंट है डाटा इंटीग्रिटीज को लेके. सबसे पहले एमएचआरए. एमएचआरए मींस मेडिसिन एंड हेल्थ केयर प्रोडक्ट रेगुलेटरी एजेंसी. जीएक्सपी डाटा इंटीग्रिटी गाइडेंस एंड डेफिनेशंस. यहाँ पर बहुत ही अच्छे से डेफिनेशंस दी गई हैं और डाटा इंटीग्रिटी को बड़े आराम से यहाँ पर समझा जा सकता है. आप में से कई सारे लोगों ने इसको पहले पढ़ा होगा और अगर नहीं पढ़ा है तो एक बार फिर से पढ़ लीजिएगा. बहुत अच्छी गाइडलाइन है. नेक्स्ट, पिक्स. पिक्स की एक गाइडलाइन है जो गुड प्रैक्टिस फॉर द डाटा मैनेजमेंट एंड इंटीग्रिटी इन द रेगुलेटेड एंड जीएमपी एंड जीडीपी एनवायरमेंट्स। बहुत अच्छी गाइडलाइन है जहां पर डाटा इंटीग्रिटी के बारे में बहुत डिटेल से बताया गया है, ALCOA+4 के बारे में बहुत अच्छे से बताया हुआ है, और कैसे आप गवर्न कर सकते हैं, क्या क्या कंट्रोल सिस्टम लगा सकते हैं, कैसे आप रिस्क असेसमेंट कर सकते हैं, क्रिटिकलिटी कैसे डिसाइड कर सकते हैं, ये सब इस गाइडलाइन में बहुत अच्छे से दिया हुआ है, तो यू कैन रेफर फॉर दैट। Next, US FDA guideline, that is the data integrity and compliance with the drug CGMP questionnaire answer guidance for the industry, जहां पर क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर के थ्रू आपको बहुत अच्छे से समझाया गया है, स्पेशली फॉर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिस्टम, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डाटा के लिए क्या ऑडिट ट्रायल होता है, क्या डिजास्टर रिकवरी होती है, क्या बैकअप अक्राइवल होता है, ये सब चीजें अगर आपको देखनी है तो दिस इज द बेस्ट गाइडलाइन। नेक्स्ट, इन द टीजीए साइट, अगर आप टीजीए की साइट पर जाएंगे तो वहां पर एक बहुत ही अच्छी प्रेजेंटेशन है जो आप रेफर कर सकते हैं खुद को पढ़ने के लिए भी और अपनी टीम को ट्रेन करने के लिए भी यूज कर सकते हैं। दैट इज पिक्स गाइड फॉर द जीएमपी एंड द डाटा इंटीग्रिटी रिलेटेड टू द माइक्रोबायोलॉजिकल क्वालिटी। बहुत अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन उनकी साइट पर अवेलेबल है। नेक्स्ट, डाटा मैनेजमेंट एंड द इंटीग्रिटी दैट लेबोरेटरी प्रैक्टिस, ये भी उनकी साइट पे बहुत अच्छी प्रेजेंटेशन है और हम इससे देखकर बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं और सिखा भी सकते हैं अपनी टीम को। नेक्स्ट, आईपी दैट इज द डाटा रिलायबिलिटी गाइडलाइन, जो कि बहुत सारे रेगुलेटर्स ने अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बेस पर, अपने रोजमर्रा में आने वाली प्रॉब्लम्स के बेस पर, ट्रबल शूटिंग के बेस पर दे प्रिपेयर दैट एंड ऑल द थिंग्स आर वेरी वेल डिफाइंड हियर, और बहुत अच्छे से वहां पर लिया हुआ है, हम इसको भी रेफर कर सकते हैं। नाउ Health Canada, in the case of Health Canada, in GMP guideline, there is refer record are appropriate, reviewed and protected from the accidental or intentional notification or deletion. To demonstrate a state of control, you should implement a data governance system. तो for data governance system के लिए आपने जो PICS की गाइडलाइन ऊपर देखी थी उसे Health Canada ने रेफर किया हुआ है। Now WHO TRS 996 and Exer 5, जहां पर गाइडेंस ऑन द गुड डाटा एंड रिकॉर्ड मैनेजमेंट प्रैक्टिस के बारे में बहुत अच्छा सा लिखा है, और वहां पर हम डाटा मैनेजमेंट और रिलायबिलिटी इन सब के बारे में भी पढ़ सकते हैं। एक गाइडलाइन जो कि ड्राफ्ट में है अक्टूबर 2019 से, वहां पर बहुत अच्छे से डाटा इंटीग्रिटी को डिफाइन किया हुआ है दोस्तों, और आप वो सब अच्छे से पढ़ सकते हैं और देख सकते हैं कि वहां पर क्या क्या डिफाइन किया हुआ है डाटा इंटीग्रिटी के बारे में। Now, Schedule M is the regulation for the India, and there is mentioned in the documentation and the records about the data integrity and requirement of the data in very well way. These all are the part of the regulatories. Now we have to see what is the expectation of the regarding the data management integrity from the regulators. The requirement for the data management and data integrity are not new and have been embedded in the GMP requirement for a number of decades. A deficiency in a practice or the process that has produced or may result in a significant risk of producing a product that is harmful to the user also occur when it is observed that the manufacturer has engaged in the fraud, misrepresentation or falsification of the product or data. All manufacturers of the pharmaceutical industry have responsibilities and a duty to assess their data management system for the potential vulnerability and take a step to design and implement good data governance practice to ensure data integrity is maintained. Data integrity is defined as the extent to which all data are complete, consistent, and accurate throughout the data life cycle. The ALCOA plus principle outline data management and integrity practice that are required to ensure the integrity of the data irrespective to how it is generated. Means ALCOA plus principle बहुत important है और वो सब principles हमारे सारे डाटा में लगना चाहिए, यही expectation यहाँ पर regulatory से है. So let's see the data attribute integrity and requirement. Attributable. It should be possible to identify the individual who performed the recorded task. The need to document who performed the task function is in part of demonstrate that the function has performed by the trained and qualified person. This apply to change made to record as well, correction, deletion, changes, etc. जिसने किया है उसका नाम है, उसका टाइम है, यही attributable है. किसने किया, कब किया, ये ही आपके डॉक्यूमेंट में दिखना चाहिए, आपके डाटा में मिलना चाहिए. Second, legible. All record must be legible. The information must be readable in order for it to be any use. This applies to all the information that would be required to be considered complete, including all original record or entries. Where the dynamic nature of the electronic data, the ability of search, query, train, etc. is important to the content and meaning of the record. The ability to interact with the data using the suitable application is important to the ability of the record. So legible means जो लिखा है सालों साल भी देखोगे तो सबको वैसा ही दिखेगा. That is the perfect. Now contemporaneous. The evidence of the action, event or decision should be recorded as they take place. This documentation should be served as an accurate attestation of what was done or what was decided and why, what influenced the decision at the time. Particular time पे ये किया जी, इस time पे ये होना था, वही हुआ है. That is the contemporaneous. अगर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डाटा है तो वो उसी टाइम पे जनरेट होने वाला है. अगर मैनुअल लिखना है तो जब जो दिखा वो तब लिखा. That is the contemporaneous. Next, original. The original record can be described as the first capture of the information, whether recorded on paper, statics, or the electronic, usually dynamic, depend upon the complexity of the system. Information that is originally captured in a dynamic state should remain available in that state. That is the original. Accurate. Ensuring result and the record are accurate in achieving through many elements of a robust pharmaceutical quality management system. This can be comprised of equipment related factors such as qualification, calibration, maintenance, and computer validation. Policies and procedure to control the action and behaviors, including data review procedure to verify adhere to the procedural requirement. Deviation management, including root cause analysis, impact assessment, and the CAPA. Trained and qualified person who understand the importance of the following established procedure and documenting their action and decision. Together, these elements aim to ensure the accuracy of the information, including scientific data that is used to make the critical decision about the quality of the product. Means everything is accurate. मुझे कैलिब्रेशन का डाटा बनाना है और करना है कैलिब्रेशन और मेरी लिमिट ये है तो मेरी वैल्यू इसके बीच में ही आनी चाहिए. ये नहीं कि मैं कुछ भी करके वो वैल्यू बीच में लेकर आ रही हूँ और उसे एक्यूरेट नहीं होने दे रही. तो मींस एक्यूरेट शुड बी एक्यूरेट. आपका जो चीज दो डाटा है वो जो आ रहा है जैसा आ रहा है आपको रिपोर्ट करना है, एक्यूरेटली रिपोर्ट करना है. ओके, सो दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ द एक्यूरेट जो हमने यहाँ पर पढ़े हैं, चाहे वो कैलिब्रेशन को लेके किए हों या डेविएशन मैनेजमेंट के लिए किए हों, जिसमें कि हम कापा और रूट कॉज एनालिसिस वगैरह करते हैं. ट्रेंड और क्वालिफिकेशन जो अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं, ट्रेंड और क्वालिफाइड पर्सन जो अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं इंपोर्टेंस को, तो हमें उसको क्या है ट्रेंड और क्वालिफाइड पर्सन से अपना काम कराना है, तो एक्यूरेट बनेगा. कंप्लीट. ऑल इंफॉर्मेशन दैट वुड बी क्रिटिकल or recreating an event is important when trying to understand the event. The level of detail required for the information said to be considered complete whole depend upon the criticality of the information. A complete record of the data generation, electronic include relevant metadata. Complete means complete from the initial to the end. Every step should be completed as per your SOP, as per your system. अगर मेरे पास कोई बार डाटा रिलीज करने के लिए आया है तो कब उसका रॉ मटेरियल एक्सिपिएंट XYZ कंपनी के अंदर एंटर किया और वहां से लेके जब मेरे सिस्टम लागू उस पर हुए और जो भी मेटा डाटा वहां पर लगा वो सारे कंप्लीट होने के बाद ही मेरे टेबल के ऊपर रिलीज करने के लिए कोई प्रोडक्ट आना चाहिए, कोई COA आना चाहिए एज ए डॉक्यूमेंटेशन. दिस इज द ब्रॉड वे. इन द सिंपल वे अगर मैं कुछ समझूं कि अगर मुझे सिंपल टाइट्रेशन करनी है तो टाइट्रेशन करने के लिए अगर मुझे कहां से वो सैंपल एंटर हुआ इन क्वालिटी डिपार्ट, अगर मैं QC में हूं तो कोई कहां से वो सैंपल एंटर हुआ और कैसे कैसे मैंने उसको ट्रीट किया और कहां से मैंने उसका COA जनरेट किया, दैट शुड बी द कंप्लीट. दैट शुड बी द बिल्कुल एकदम ट्रांसपेरेंट होना चाहिए ऑल थिंग्स. Next, consistent. Good documentation practice should be applied throughout any process with exception, including deviation that may occur during the process. This includes capturing all the changes made to the data. Means अगर मैं कुछ काम करने जा रही हूँ एक SOP पढ़कर तो जो उसका आउटपुट निकलने वाला है और आप भी अगर करने जाएंगे तो सेम आउटपुट आना चाहिए. That should be the consistent. Means हर बार एक कंसिस्टेंसी रिजल्ट आना चाहिए एक पर्टिकुलर डॉक्यूमेंट के साथ में. ठीक है, अगर हर एक किसी स्टेप पे मुझे डेविएशन मिल रहा है तो दैट शुड बी डेविएशन आपको भी मिलना चाहिए. दैट इज द कंसिस्टेंसी. नाउ एंड्यूरिंग. पार्ट ऑफ द एंड्यूरिंग रिकॉर्ड आर अवेलेबल इज मेकिंग श्योर दैट they exist for the entire period during which they might be needed. This means they need to remain intact and the access to एज एन इंडेलिबल और ड्यूरेबल रिकॉर्ड मीन्स जब मैं चाहूँ वो मुझे मिल जाना चाहिए, पूरी लाइफ साइकिल उसकी होनी चाहिए, एंड्यूरिंग बनना चाहिए। ये नहीं कि मैंने किसी भी ऐसे वैसे पेपर के ऊपर कुछ भी लिख दिया है जो कि कुछ दिनों बाद लेजिबल भी नहीं रहने वाला है, तो एंड्यूरिंग तो क्या रहेगा। तो एंड्यूरिंग के लिए मुझे चाहिए कि कुछ ऐसे सिस्टम मेरे पास हो कि मेरा डाटा एंड्यूरिंग रहे, मुझे जब जरूरत हो, अवेलेबल हो, मुझे वो मिल जाना चाहिए। नाउ अवेलेबल रिकॉर्ड मस्ट बी अवेलेबल फॉर रिव्यू एट एनी टाइम ड्यूरिंग द रिक्वायर्ड डिटेंशन period. Accessible is a readable format to all the applicable person who are responsible for their review, whether for a routine release decision, investigation, trending, annual report, audits or the inspection. मतलब हमेशा अवेलेबल है, चाहे मुझे वो किसी भी काम के लिए चाहिए, आइदर किसी भी चीज के लिए चाहिए, वो हमेशा अवेलेबल होना चाहिए। कुछ ऐसे सिस्टम्स मेरे पास लगे होने चाहिए कि वो मुझे मिल जाए। दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ द ALCOA. So let's see at a glance what is the ALCOA. Attributable clearly indicate who recorded the data or performed the activity. Legible, it must be possible to read or interpret the data after it recorded permanent. Contemporaneous, data must be recorded at the time it was generated. Original, data must be preserved in an unaltered state. Accurate, data must correctly reflect the action. Plus, complete, consistent, enduring and available. So this is the part of the ALCOA plus. हमने इसको रिवाइज किया, इसको देखा, इसको समझा, और अब हमें देखना है आगे क्या होने वाला है. Now expectation regarding the data management and integrity. तो अब expectation क्या है रेगुलेटर्स की, वो हमें देखनी है. As a result of this increased focus on the data management and integrity, the regulator expect manufacturer to take the following action to ensure the integrity of the data generated in the support of the manufacturing operation and product quality. Review exiting quality system procedure and system to ensure the data integrity is maintained. Manufacturer are encouraged for the focus on system of the generation, issue and control of physical copy documentation and batch record, including those designed to control the use and access to the blank forms and templates. Process for assessing generation, control and review of electronic generated data and the record, including but not limited to the system validation, configuration and ensuring reviews of the source data and audit trial are routinely performed based on the risks. Arrangement for the store, backup and archival of the GMP data, staff training and awareness in data integrity, requirement of the guide to GMP. तो हमने यहाँ पर ये देखा कि कैसे स्टाफ ट्रेनिंग एंड अवेयरनेस ऑफ द डाटा इंटीग्रिटी रिक्वायरमेंट है, हमें ट्रेनिंग देना कितना जरूरी है. Now review the effectiveness of the data management integrity control implemented through the quality system and self-section program. Review the effectiveness of the data management and data integrity control implemented by the key service provider, contract manufacturer or the testing facility through your quality management system, external supplier audit program. Where manufacturer identify gap or vulnerability in the current control, it is expected that you develop and document appropriate corrective and preventive action for the resolution. This may include the need to update the quality management system, equipment and software in case where the in-use system are unable to meet current expectation for the data management and data integrity. So हमने यहाँ पर क्या देखा कि क्या expectations हैं रेगुलेटर्स की इन ए शॉर्ट वे, कि कहा अगर आप सप्लायर से लेकर आपके खुद की डाटा इंटीग्रिटी को आपको इंश्योर करना है और अपने स्टाफ को ट्रेनिंग देकर रखना है, ये सारी चीजें हमें एक्सपेक्टेशन में दिखी. नाउ व्हाट इज डाटा गवर्नेंस. तो डाटा गवर्नेंस को समझने के लिए क्या चाहिए हमें. डाटा गवर्नेंस इज द सम टोटल ऑफ अरेंजमेंट which provide assurance of the data quality. आपकी डाटा क्वालिटी के लिए वो सारे अरेंजमेंट जो आप करते हो, that is a part of data governance. These arrangement ensure that data, irrespective of the process, format or technology in which it is generated, recorded, processed, retained, retrieved and used, will be ensured attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, complete, consistent, enduring and available record throughout the data life cycle. What is the data life cycle? The data life cycle refers to how data is generated, processed, reported, checked, used for the decision making, stored, and finally discarded at the end of the retention period. Data relating to a product or a process may cross various boundaries within the life cycle. This may include data transfer between the paper-based and the computerized system, or between different organization boundary, both internal between production, QC and QA, and external between service provider or contract giver and acceptor. So this is the data life cycle. Now data governance system. How can work the data governance system? Data governance system should be integrated to the pharmaceutical quality system described in PICS, GMP, GDP. Means मैंने यहाँ पे example लिया है आपको PICS में जो दिया है उसका, but it can be applicable to all regulator. It should address data ownership throughout the life cycle and consider the design, operation, and monitoring of the process and system in order to comply with the principle of data integrity, including control over the intentional and unintentional changes to and deletion of information. The data governance system should ensure control over the data lifecycle, which are commensurate with the principle of the quality risk management. So there is a quality risk management, and always risks under the knowledge and make the system such a way that can be governed all your lapses during the data integrity. Risk management approach to data governance. Senior management responsible for the implementation of the system and procedure to minimize the potential risk of the data integrity and for identify the residual risk using the principle of ICHQ9. So you can use ICHQ9 as well. You always use for the any risk assessment. You can make that mitigation plan, do it, take the kappa, effectiveness, check the effectiveness. So risk management approach should be there. Data criticality. The decision that influence may differ in importance and the impact of the data to a decision may also vary. Point to consider regarding data critically includes which decision does the data influence. For example, when making a batch release decision, data which determine the compliance with the critical quality attributes is normally of greater importance than the warehouse cleaning records. So what is the next? What is the impact of the data to the product quality or the safety? For example, for an oral tablet API, assay data is of generally greater impact to the product quality and the safety than the tablet fiability data. Now data risk. What is the data risk? The data risk assessment should be considered the variability of the data to involuntary alteration, deletion, loss or recreation or deliberate falsification and the likelihood of deletion of such action. Consideration should also be given to ensure complete data recovery in the event of the disaster. Control measures which prevent the unauthorized activity and increase visibility, detectability can be used as risk mitigation actions. Example of factor which can increase risk of data failure include complex, inconsistent process with open-ended and subjective outcome. Simple tasks which are consistent, well-defined and objective lead to reduced tasks. So there is a very simple task that can be used as a control and you can achieve the integrity of the data. Data governance system review. The effectiveness of the data integrity control measure should be assessed periodically as a part of self-inspection. That is internal audit or other periodical review process. This should ensure the control over the data life cycle are operating as intended. In addition to routine data verification checks, self-inspection activity should be extended to a wider review of the control measure. So you have to review your data governance system like this manner, like self-inspection, another process of the periodic review also. So you can review your data governance system. Now, organization influence on the successful data integrity management. It may not be appropriate or the possible to report an inspection situation related to the organizational behavior and understanding of how behavior influence. The incentive to amend, delete or falsify data. The effectiveness of the procedure control designing to ensure the data integrity can provide the inspector with a useful indicator of the risk which can be investigated further. Organization influence on successful data integrity management. Next part, inspector should be sensitive to the influence of the culture or on organizational behavior and apply to principles described in the section of the guidance in an appropriate way. An effective quality culture at the data governance may be different in its implementation from one location to another. Good data governance in open culture may be facilitated by the employee empowerment to identify and report the issue through the pharmaceutical quality system. In closed culture, a greater emphasis on the oversight and the secondary review may be required to achieve an equivalent level of the control due to the social barrier of communication, undesirable information. The availability of a confidential escalation process to a senior management may also be a greater importance on this situation. And these arrangements should clearly demonstrate that reporting is actively supported and encouraged by the senior management. Data integrity breaches can occur at any time by any employee. So management need to be vigilant in detecting issue and understand reason behind the lapse. We found to enable investigation to the issue and implementation of corrective and preventive action. Code of ethics and policies. A code of value and ethics should reflect the management philosophy on the quality achieved through the policies. Code of conduct that are aligned to the quality culture. The code of values and ethics should be written with the intent to developing an environment of the trust where all the individuals are responsible and accountable for ensuring the patient safety and product quality. Management should make the personnel aware of the importance of their role in ensuring data quality and the implication of their activities to assure product quality and protecting patient safety. Code of conduct policy should clearly define the expectation of the ethics behavior such as honesty. This should be communicated to and be well understood by all persons. The communication should not be limited only to knowing the requirement, but also why they are established and the consequence of the failing to fulfill the requirement. Quality culture. Management should aim to create a work environment that is quality culture that is transparent and open, one in which personnel are encouraged to freely communicate failure and mistakes, including potential data reliability issues, so that the corrective and preventive action can be taken. Originally, reporting structure should be permitted the information flow between the person at all levels. It is the collection of the values, beliefs, thinkings, and behavior demonstrated consistently by the management, team leader, quality person, and all the person that contribute to creating a quality culture to ensure data quality and integrity. Modernizing the pharmaceutical quality system. The application of modern quality risk management principle and the good data management practice to the current pharmaceutical quality system serve a modernize the system to meet the challenges that come with the generation of complex data. The company's pharmaceutical system should be able to prevent the detect and the correct weakness in the system or their process that may lead to the data integrity lapse. The company should know their data lifecycle and integrate the appropriate control and the procedure such that the data governed will be valid, complete, and reliable. Resource allocation. Management should be allocate appropriate resource to support and sustain the good data integrity management such that the workload and the pressure on these responsible for the data generation and the record keeping do not increase the likelihood of the error or the opportunity to deliberately compromise data integrity. There should be a sufficient number of the person for the quality and the management oversight, IT support, conduct of investigation, and management of the training program that are commensurate with the operation of the organization. Then let's see, this is the part of all things about the management, resource, etc., to increase the integrity of the data, integrity of our product. Now, specific data entry consideration for the paper-based system. Let's see at a glance what is the paper-based system and how can we maintain the integrity in the case of paper-based system. The effective management of the paper based upon the document is a key element of GMP and GDP. Accordingly, the documentation system should be designed to meet GMP or GDP requirement and ensure that documents and the records are effectively controlled to maintain their integrity. Records are critical to GMP GDP operation, and thus control is necessary to ensure for the evidence of the actively performed, effectiveness of the pharmaceutical quality system, traceability, etc. Generation, distribution, and control of template control. You should do that. Managing and controlling the master record is necessary to ensure that the risk of someone appropriately using and or falsified a record by ordinary means, that is not requiring the use of the specialist for the skill, is reduced to an acceptable level. The following expectations should be implemented using the quality risk management approach, considering the risk and criticality of the data record. Use and control of the record located at the point of use, filling out records, making correction on the records, verification of the records, secondary checks, direct print out from electronic system like balance and pH meter, true copies, copies of original paper records, that is analytical summary report, validation report, etc. are generally very useful for the communication purpose and between companies and operating at the different location. What is the true copy? The original copy is your data, and when we prepared any summary report and validation report, that is the true copy. That is the true copy in the case of paper-based system. Document retention. Identify record retention requirement and archive record. Disposal of original record. A document process for the disposal of the record should be in place to ensure that the correct original record are disposed of after the defined retention period. The system should ensure that current record are not destroyed by the accident and that historical record do not inadvertently make their way back into the current record streams. Historical record confused mixed with the extreme record. Means should be well defined, well known, what should be going to destroy and what is not. So this is the at a glance paper system. Let's see. Attributable, signature, log, no legible, no pencil, whiteout, soluble ink, contemporary system design, documents in the right place at the right time, original, workbook form, control, verified true copy, scan, accurate, reflective of the observation, data checking, raw data verification. So this is the designing paper system which reduce opportunities for the falsification. Now, specific data integrity consideration for the computerized system. A structure of the QMS and the control of the computerized system. A large variety of the computerized system are used by the companies to assist in a significant number of the operational activities. These range from the simple standalone to the large integrated and the complex system, many of which have an impact on the quality of the product manufactured. It is the responsibility of each regulated entity to fully evaluate and control all the computerized system and manage them in accordance with the GMP and GDP requirements. Guys, you can see the previous video of the CSV. Qualification and the validation of the computerized system. The qualification and validation of computerized system should be performed in accordance with the relevant GMP GDP guidance. Audit trail for the computerized system. Data capture, entry for the computerized system. Storage, archival and disposal of electronic data. Management of hybrid system. So that was the part of the computerized system. Let's see at a glance. Designing electronic system which reduce the opportunity of falsification. Attributable, user access control, signature, legible, data security, audit trail, backup, etc. Contemporary state, auto saving, stepwise recording, clock synchronization, original metadata which permit reconstruction, accurate data captured, manual data entries, and source data and audit trail review. So this is the whole part of the paper and computer. Now data entry consideration for the outsource activity. We did many things for the plant. We do many things with our company. But in case we forget about the outsourcing, that is the not complete integrity enhancement. So general supply chain consideration. Data integrity play a key part in ensuring the security and integrity of the supply chains. Data governance measured by a contract giver may be significantly weakened by the unreliable or the falsified data and material provided by the supply chain partners. This principle applies to all the outsourced activity, including the supplier of the raw material, contract manufacturer, analytical service, wholesaler, and contract consolidation service provider. Routine document verification. The supply chain relies upon the use of documentation in the database from one organization to another. It is often not practical for the contract giver to review all raw data relating to the reported result. Emphasis should be placed upon the robust supplier and the contractor qualification using the principle of the quality risk management. Strategy for the assess the data integrity in the supply chain. Site audit. Review the contract sector, the organization behavior, and understanding the data governance, data lifecycle, risk, and criticality. Material testing versus CUA. Compare the result of the analytical testing versus supplier reported CUA. Examine discrepancy in the accuracy, precision, or purity result. This may be performed on a routine basis, periodically, and unannounced depending upon the material and the supply risk. Remote data review. The contract giver may consider offering the contracted facilities, supplier use of their own hardware or the software system deployed over a wide area network to use in the batch manufacturing and testing. The contract giver may be monitor the quality and integrity of the data generated by the contract facility person in the real time. In this situation, there should be segregation of the duties to ensure that contract giver the monitoring of the data does not give the provision for the amendment of the data generated by the contract acceptor. Quality monitoring. Quality and performance monitoring may include incentive for the data falsification, raw material which marginally complies with the specification on a frequent basis. So these are all the part of the outsourcing in a very brief way. Now classification of deficiency. We got deficiencies. Now how can we classify and how can we use the risk management and how can we give the mitigation plan and how can give the kappa and what is the effectiveness. All these things are covered here. Now classification of deficiency. Classification of deficiency as per PICS guideline. What is state that a critical deficiency is a practice or process that has produced or lead a significant risk of the producing either a product which is harmful to the human and a veterinary patient or a product which could result in a harmful residue in the food producing animal. A critical deficiency also occurs when it is observed that the manufacturer has engaged in fraud, misrepresentation or falsification of the product or data. That is from the PICS. Notwithstanding the critical classification of the deficiency related to the fraud, misrepresentation or falsification, it is understood that the data integrity deficiency can also be related to data integrity failure resulting from the bad practice. Opportunity for the failure without evidence of actual failure due to the absence of the required data control measure. In these cases, it may be appropriate to assign the classification of the deficiency by taking into the account the following: impact to the product with the actual or potential risk to potential health, critically deficiency, product failing to meet the specification at the release or within the shelf life, reporting of the desired result rather than an actual out of specification result when reporting to QC test, critical product or process parameter, wide range and intentional manipulation and falsification of the data without the knowledge and assistance of the senior management, the extent of which critically undermines the reliability of the pharmaceutical quality system and erodes all confidence in the quality and safety of the medicine manufactured or handled by the site. Impact to product with no risk to patient health measure deficiency. Data being misreported, example, original result in specification but altered to give a more favorable trend. Reporting of a desired result rather than an actual out of specification result when reporting of the data which does not related to QC test, critical product or the process parameters. Failures rise from the poorly designed data capture system using scrap of the paper to record into for the latter transcription. No impact to product, evidence of moderate failures, measure deficiency. Bad practice and the poorly designed system which may be result in opportunities for the data integrity issue or the loss of the traceability cross a limited number of functional area, QA, production, QC, etc. Each in its own right has no direct impact to product quality. No impact on product, limited evidence of the failure, other deficiency. Bad practice and the poor designation system, which may result in opportunity for the data integrity issues for the loss of traceability in restricted area. Limited failure in an otherwise established system, manipulation of non-critical data by an individual. It is important to build an overall picture of the adequacy of the key element, data governance process, design of system to facilitate complaint, data recording, use and verification of audit trail and IT user access, etc., to make a robust assessment as to whatever there is a company-wide failure or a deficiency of limited scope or impact. Now remediation. We see the classification of our deficiency. Now remediation plan. So let's see data integration failure, remediation of data integration failure. Consideration should be primarily given to the resolving the immediate issue identified as the risk associated with the data integrity issues. The response by the company in a question should outline the action taken. Response from the implicated manufacturer should be included. A comprehensive investigation into the extent of the inaccuracy in the data record and reported to include. The scope of the investigation should be include an assessment of the extent of the data integrity at the corporate level, including all facilities, sites, and departments that could be potentially be affected. Interviews of the current and former employee to identify the nature, scope, and the root cause of the data inaccuracies. These interviews may be conducted by the qualified third party. The assessment of the extent of the data integrity deficiency at the facility. Identify omission, alteration, deletion, record destruction, non-contemporaneous record completion, and other deficiency. A comprehensive retrospective evaluation of the nature of the testing in the manufacturer data integrity deficiency and the potential root causes. The service of the qualified third-party consultant with the specific expertise in the area where potential breaches were identified may be necessary. A risk assessment of the potential effect of the observed failure on the quality of the drug involved. The assessment should be include analysis of the potential risk a patient caused by the release distribution of the product affected by the lapse of the data integrity, risk posed by the ongoing operation, and any impact on the veracity of the data submitted to the regulatory agency, including data related to the product registration dossier. So guys, we can see here the remediation plan which we have to be implement, and then corrective and preventive action to be address the data integrity vulnerability and the timeline frame to implementation, and including internal measure description, the action to protect patients and to ensure the quality of the medicinal products, such as notify customer, recalling product, conducting additional testing, adding lots to the stability program to ensure stability, drug application action, and enhance the complete monitoring. Long-term measure describe any remediation effort and the enhancement to procedure, process, method control, system management oversight, and human resource, example training, staffing improvement, designed to ensure the data integrity. Now this is our remediation plan. Now we are come with the indicators of the improvement. So how can we see? An on-site inspection is required to verify the effectiveness of the action taken to address the serious data integrity issues. Some indicators of the improvements are evidence of a thorough and open evaluation of the identified issue and timely implementation of effective corrective and preventive action, including appropriate implementation of the corrective and preventive action at an organization level. Evidence of open communication of the issue with client and other regulator. Transparent communication should be maintained throughout the investigation and remediation stage. Regulators should be aware that further data integrity failure may be reported as a result of the detailed investigation. Any additional reaction to those notifications should be appropriate to the public health risk to encourage continued reporting. Evidence of the communication of the data integrity expectations across the organization, incorporate process for the open reporting of the potential issues and opportunities for improvement without repercussions. The regulators user should ensure that an appropriate evaluation of the vulnerability of any sophisticated electronic system to data manipulation take place to ensure that follow-up action have fully resolved all the violation. Third-party expertise may be required. Implementation of the data integrity policy is in line with the principle of this guide. Implementation of routine data verification practice. So guys, these all about the data integrity, जहाँ पे हमने सब कुछ पढ़ा कि ALCOA प्लस क्या था, उसके बाद हमने ये भी पढ़ा कि रेगुलेटरीज में क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, पेपर सिस्टम में कैसे डाटा इंटीग्रिटी इंप्रूव की जा सकती है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिस्टम में कैसे की जा सकती है, जहाँ पे अलग अलग बातों को हमने देखा. उसके बाद हमने देखा कि गवर्नेंस सिस्टम क्या होता है, डाटा गवर्नेंस सिस्टम क्या होता है, लाइफ साइकिल क्या होता है, क्या डाटा रिस्क होते हैं, कैसे रिस्क असेसमेंट किया जा सकता है, कैसे इसको समझा जा सकता है, व्हाट इज द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ डाटा इंटीग्रिटी डेफिशिएंसीज को कैसे क्लासिफाइड किया जा सकता है, फिर रिमेडिएशन प्लान कैसे होते हैं और इंडिकेटर ऑफ इंप्रूवमेंट्स क्या होते हैं. इसके साथ ही ये वीडियो यहाँ पर खत्म हो रही है, जहाँ पे हमने ब्रीफ में पूरी डाटा इंटीग्रिटी को समझ लिया है और देख लिया है. फिर भी गाइस, मैं अगर आपको कुछ भी इसमें और समझना है या कुछ भी आपको लगता है कि इसमें और होना चाहिए तो आप यू कैन राइट मी ऑन माय मेल आईडी जो मैंने यहाँ पर नीचे लिखी हुई है. एंड मैं एक्सपेक्ट करती हूँ कि आप मुझे जरूर लिखेंगे कुछ ना कुछ, और ये भी एक्सपेक्ट करती हूँ कि आपको ये अच्छा लगा होगा ये वीडियो. और थैंक्स टू रिमेन विद मी, कि किसी को सुनना अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा पेशेंस होता है, ये मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ. थैंक्स टू लिसनिंग मी, एंड मैं आपके पास साथ फिर आऊंगी एक दूसरे टॉपिक के साथ और हम फिर उसको डिस्कस करेंगे ताकि हम इंप्रूवमेंट कर सके अपने नॉलेज को और इंप्रूव कर सके अपनी फार्मा इंडस्ट्री को इन द पॉइंट ऑफ द कंप्लायंस. सो टिल देन आपको हैप्पी रहना है, खुश रहना है, कंप्लायंस में रहना है, अच्छी प्रोडक्टिविटी देनी है, चाहे वो प्रोडक्ट से रिलेटेड हो या डाटा से रिलेटेड हो. और इसी के साथ थैंक यू सो मच. मीट यू अगेन. टेक केयर. बाय बाय.